What's up guys, it's Rogue here and welcome back to yet another deck profile on the channel. So if you haven't read the title yet, I got an updated version of a Mutant deck profile. It is Mutant Dogmatikas, as I believe this is by far the strongest version of the deck possible. I will explain to you in the deck profile why. This deck recently just got a new card released in Battles of Chaos that, in my opinion, is absolutely crazy. And this deck's a bit overlooked at the moment, guys. This deck is really good, in my opinion. It can do a lot of anti-meta things. You can main deck the D-Shifter. My version doesn't, but of course you can. It has a lot of traps. You can main deck, there can be only one, and it has a lot of things that make it really strong against the meta. So without any further ado, before we get into this amazing deck profile, please do leave a like on the video, subscribe down below, leave a comment if you do enjoy this kind of content, or if you want to see the combo guide of this deck. The combos are actually quite complicated. They're not as linear as you may think. It's not just normal summon M and S of the mutants and, you know, get your place from there. You can actually do quite a lot of combo lines, and I'd really be happy to show you guys if this video does get a lot of support. Make sure you do subscribe. 90% of you who do watch this video are not subscribed. What are you doing? Make sure you're here for the 1000 sub giveaway, and without any further ado, let's get straight into this deck profile. So starting off with the main deck here, we of course have triple of the Mutant M. If you don't know what this guy searches, the little symbol beside the name M is what they search, so he will be searching the monsters. And you might as well bring out his brother here. We are of course playing triple of the Mutant ST, which will be searching your spells and traps. So I'm playing 3 of each because these are essentially the heart and soul of the deck. You want to loop these guys as much as possible. And if you don't know what the little mutants do, I will quickly explain it to you. They tribute themselves and banish 1 card for cost to bring out the boss monster that is representative of the card you did banish. If you banish a monster, you'll get out the boss monster that has to do with monsters. Banish a spell, you get the mutant to do with spells. And if you banish a trap, you will get the boss monster that is equivalent to the trap. So it's pretty simple, guys. And we are playing triple of each. They are psychics, which comes up in a bit, and I'll explain why. So triple of each. The new guy now from Battle of Chaos, we have Mutant. So he is absolutely insane, guys, in my opinion. It's a shame they didn't make him an ultra because he can match his brothers. But he does not search on summon. What he does is he's basically a buffed up version of the small mutant's effects. He tributes himself for cost, that stays the same. But instead of banishing a card from your hand, he actually banishes a card from your deck. So that is infinitely better because you don't have to go neg 1 to summon your big guy. And allows for a lot of versatile combos to be done, which I'll also explain down the line. So we're playing 2 of him because he does, you know, reduce your life points equal to the amount of attack that the big boss monsters have, and that's a lot. So you will be minusing like 2,600 life points each time you do summon a big one. And we aren't playing that many boss monsters, only 3, so just 2 of him is perfectly fine. He's also a psychic, so I'll explain why that's relevant now. For the boss monsters, we have 2 beasts and the 1 arsenal. I don't play the mist. I don't feel he's very good at all. The beast is easily the best big mutant monster you can do. If you don't know what he does, is he banishes himself and then basically negates and banishes an opponent's spell, and he also cannot be targeted with monster effects, so that's really good. If you don't know what Arsenal does, he can't be targeted by trap effects, which is why you bring him out with a trap and him with the monster. And when your opponent's monster activates its effect, you can banish him and basically target 1 monster in the field and banish it. These are easily the best boss mutant monsters that there are. You can play Mist, but he's not very good in my opinion, so I feel like 3 is the perfect number because obviously you don't want to be drawing these guys. So that is it for the mutant monsters. Let's move on to the second engine here. We've got the Dogmatikas. So we have 1 Ecclesia, 1 Maximus, and 1 Fleur-de-Lis, keeping it very simple. And we're playing 1 of each because, yes, they are really good, but the deck's main purpose isn't Dogmatika, guys. It is mutants, so I want to keep it that way. 1 of each is perfectly fine. Ecclesia will get you a Maximus or Fleur-de-Lis, and the Maximus is the main MVP. He's probably the most important Dogmatika in your deck because what he does is he can send 2 cards from your extra deck to the grave. And if you didn't know, guys, this is where you would be sending your Mutant Ultimus. And why are you sending your Mutant Ultimus? Well, because in order to bring out Mutant Ultimus, it's a bit complicated. You need 3 level 8 or higher mutants. With Maximus, since the trap does from grave or banish, you can easily hit that, restriction and summon him very quickly. And that is why Maximus is the best. He also gives you a lot of information on what your opponent is playing. I feel like that's also important. And Fleur-de-Lis is just a really good monster negate that you would be searching in the end phase of your Ash Dragon. And for the only hand trap we do play, we are of course playing triple of the Psy-Frame Gear Gamma and his brother, the Driver. Why are you playing Gamma? Well, because all our stuff tributes off the board, which, you know, gets wrecked by an Ash. So Gamma is really live. And of course, guys, we're playing triple E-Telly. Recently came off the list, and E-Telly is also really good ash bait. And then when they do ash it, you can hit it with a Gamma. Moving on to the spells and traps. We are playing triple of the Emergency Teleport. This card is easily the best card in the deck. It is able to bring you out any of your little mutant guys, and your mutant guys of the ST and the M get you a card on summon. So E-Telly is actually an insane card, gets you like +2 because you summon a monster and then that monster gets you a card, which is absolutely ridiculous. Not once per turn, and yeah, this card's absolutely incredible. I'm really glad that they did bring this card off the list. It really did help a deck like this. For another spell, we're playing 2 Nadir Servant. Yes, this deck was, I guess you can say, hit on the ban list because it did play Nadir Servant, but guys, it is absolutely fine. We got E-Telly to 3, and it allows for more of a mutant control build. And anyway, you'll still see the Nadir and the Ecclesia and the Maximus. You'll still see them, guys. The deck's hyper consistent in my opinion. Every card basically gets access to another card, and that's what I love about this deck. For the actual mutant spells, we're playing 1 Evolution Lab and 1 Mutant Fusion. That is it pretty much for the spells. I haven't really got that good of a spells lineup. The field spell, if you don't know what it does, when it's activated, it can special summon one of your level 4 or lower mutant monsters from your hand, or that is banished. It's kind of nice. And if you do have the unfortunate pleasure of drawing one of the bricks, you can use this effect, put it at the bottom, and draw a card. So that's why we're playing 1 Evo Lab. It's searchable. And the same can be said for Mutant Fusion. We're playing 1 because I feel like if they do have an interruption, a monster interruption on your guys, this basically becomes a Shadow Fusion, but better. Why? Because you can use materials from the deck and from the graveyard when they do activate a monster effect during your turn, which is absolutely insane, and that's why I'm playing Mutant Fusion. For the last spell, just 1 Call by Grave again. As I did say, Ash is very good against your deck, so try and protect yourself as best you can. Moving on for the traps here, we have triple of the Mutant Cry. Amazing, really good. This is probably your best search that you can do. This will be summoning you your Mutant Synthesis or Mutant Ultimus, and the fact that this can use from the field, the grave, or the banish pile by shuffling the materials into the deck is absolutely ridiculous, guys. This card is probably one of the best fusion spells I've seen, and it's a trap as well, so it's a chainable. So if they do try and blow it up, you can just chain it. For the other mutant cards, we have double Mutant Expansion and 1 Mutant Clash. Why have I dropped Mutant Expansion down to 2? Well, guys, because it's simple. E-Telly's at 3, Mutant Expansion goes down to 2. If you don't know what this card does, it basically summons one of your little mutant monsters from the deck, and if a mutant monster that is level 8 or higher would be destroyed by card effect, it can basically remove itself to protect that. Mutant Clash I feel is worth playing at least a 1 of. I wouldn't bump this up to any more. It's really bad if you don't have any mutants in the grave, but what this does is basically a searchable imperm. And when a level 8 or higher mutant monster does destroy an opponent's monster battle, you can draw a card. So, you know, it gives you that sort of grind game-esque card advantage if you do destroy a lot of monsters, and it's a searchable imperm that, you know, you can imperm something once, because unfortunately it's when you activate this card, not use its effect. So I feel like a searchable imperm is at least worth playing at 1. For the other traps here, we have triple that can be only 1. Your guys can, you know, tribute and banish themselves for cost, so really there can be only 1, doesn't really hinder you. The little ones are psychics, but the big ones are beasts, and I think the Mutant Ultimus is a psychic, but that's not really an issue because you'll be shuffling them back anyway from the field or the grave or whatever. And if this is a problem, you can use a mutant effect to just banish this off the field, summon one of your big guys, and boom, there's no more, there can be only 1. So I feel like this card is absolutely incredible, really shuts down the meta and doesn't hinder you that much, so it's really worth playing. For your other traps, we have double of the Solemn Strike. You really need to recognize how you lose games, and you lose games via DPE, so make sure you do strike him. Verte, strike it. You don't want to be, you know, messing with DPE. He can easily outgrind you because he's just a +1 every single turn, and you know, a deck like this, even though it is very resilient and can +1 every single turn, it's best to avoid it, so just play double strike. We also have double Compulse. This is a very versatile card. It not only can hit your opponents, you can hit your little guys, put them back to the hand, and then normal summon them again. So which is why I feel like this card is worth playing. I was playing Torrential, but DP is very prevalent, and Torrential against DP does absolutely nothing. So I feel like playing the Compulse, put the DP back in the extra deck, and you don't have to worry about him anymore. And for the last card on the main deck, it is of course 40 cards to make it as consistent as possible. Is the one-shot or Schism. Helps you make Winder, and Winder wins games. That's all I can really say. So now let's move on to the extra deck here. We're going to start off with 1 of the Cross Sheet. This card's absolutely crazy because once you get your little guys in the grave, you'll be fusion summoning, and then you can bring them back and triggering their effects. So that is why we play the cross sheet. We have the 1 Predaplant Verti Anaconda. This card isn't really that important, guys. If this card gets banned, it's okay. You don't really care. You just play it because you play the Mutant Fusion, and sometimes it's nice to have access to it. But yeah, Verti is not as broken in this deck as it is in others. We have the Psyframe Lord Lambda, guys. This card is absolutely insane, and the card you will be making off your Gamma. So you Gamma your opponent, let's say they Ash you or E-Telly, you make your Lambda, you do your normal Mutant combos, and since they're all Psychics, you'll be able to trigger your Psyframe Lord Lambda, searching you a Gamma in the end phase. Then, during your opponent's turn, as soon as they activate a monster effect, you can Gamma them, because as long as you control this card, you can Gamma even with monsters on the field. Then they'll banish themselves, you trigger this, and you can search yourself one of your little mutants, which is why I feel this card is absolutely insane and 100% worth playing. And for the last link, we have just one Almirage. All the little guys are tiny. If you have an Ecclesia in your hand, normal, get a search, link into Almirage, and then do Dogmatika plays. For the fusions, as I've said, we have triple of the Mutant Ultimateness. Kind of difficult to bring out still, but since you are playing Maximus, you can easily send your level 8s to the grave. You can send him, basically. Send 2 copies of him with your Maximus, and then fusion with another level 8, and you can bring out the 3rd copy. And this card is basically a Macabre, but on steroids. The other Mutant Fusion, we have triple O, the Mutant Synthesis. This card on summon basically pops a card, and it can make itself unaffected by a certain card type for the rest of the turn, which I feel is very useful utility. And this is probably the fusion you'll be making the most, just an easy pop summon. For other fusions, we have one of the Ash Dragon. This is basically to get your Fleur de Lis at the end phase, your Ecclesias, whatever, and you know, gives you that extra negate. So I feel he's very useful. He's also a Dark, which helps make Winder. There's not a lot of Darks in this deck. We've got 1 Construct, 1 App Cologne, 1 Winder. I feel like, you know, this is self-explanatory. This is absolutely, Winder's absolutely insane and wins games even in 2022. This card is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that it can't be destroyed by an opponent's card is also really, really nice as well. And Construct essentially is there. Some scenarios you do want to make Construct to send a light from the field to the grave, but in most scenarios you're going to be sending Construct to the grave to recycle your Schism in case they do out it. And for the last card in the extra deck, we have 1 Elder Entity Entis. And yeah, there's not much to say about this card, guys. This card's just a pop 1 when it goes to the grave, so really free. Well, that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy my take on Mutant Dogmatika. In my opinion, this deck is absolutely insane. A bit underexplored. I think there needs to be a player out there that is willing to put in the hours to test the deck and really perfect this build. And if you do, I'm sure you'll see absolutely insane results. So that is the end, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, leave a like, do whatever you'd want. And I'll catch you in the next video.
It's time! Let's go!